Again, and welcome. Welcome to this wellness talk. We'll be talking about the tummy wahala. The tummy wahala. We picked on this particular topic because more and more people are complaining about their gut health. You know, there's someone I met that said, I have had a problem in my tummy since my secondary school days. I said, really? And when he explained, he pointed to just one thing. And then more people are saying, oh, when I eat, I feel bloated, this and that. So we decided that this evening, let's talk about the tummy wahala that we don't talk about often. We aim to look at what bloating is, how to manage it, how to prevent it, and certain things that we are doing, which we didn't know was responsible for part of the problems that we're experiencing. So you are welcome, and let's go on this ride together. I always like to start with a kind of a breaker. We call it an icebreaker. Let's be honest. How many of us have finished eating a good meal, perfectly okay, but suddenly feel that our tummy is swollen like a football? And then quietly, we just loosen our belts under the table, to kind of make ourselves comfortable. For the women, they zip down their skirt and, adjust themselves. For some people, there's a joke. Oh, are you 3 months pregnant? Your tummy is suddenly big after lunch. These things happen, but it should not be normal. You know, should bloating be normal? Some people have accepted it as normal, but it is not normal. These things happen. So, what exactly is bloating? When somebody says I'm bloated or I'm suffering from bloating, what exactly are they talking about? Bloating is an uncomfortable sensation. You feel full, you feel that tightness and pressure in your abdomen. For some people, even when they drink water, there's that feeling of fullness. Many people describe it as, air in their tummy. Their tummy has been inflated like a balloon, you know. It may be, for some people, it's very obvious. You see, their tummy is distended. But for some people, it's not that obvious, The tummy is not distended, but they feel that discomfort, that sense of feeling, fullness inside. Now, if bloating happens occasionally, it's okay. Once a while for some reason, occasionally is okay. But when it is persistent or when it is frequent, it means there's a problem and we shouldn't ignore it. You know, we shouldn't ignore it when it is frequent. For some people, it is so frequent they have normalized it that is how it's supposed to be. Occasionally, okay, no problem. But when it's frequent, there is a problem. And then bloating is often a sign that the digestive system or some aspect of your health is not functioning optimally. So bloating really is a symptom, it's not a disease. It's pointing to something. When somebody is bloated, it's pointing to something. So think of bloating as a dashboard warning light. When you start your engine and you look on your dashboard, if there's a problem in the engine, you will see this check engine light that comes on. That's the same thing when we are bloated. You see, the light is not the problem. The check engine light that we are seeing is not the problem. That light is just telling us that there is a problem. It is telling us that there's an underlying need. There's something that we need to pay attention to. So it is a symptom pointing to something. That's the same thing with bloating. So here, the goal is not to suppress the symptom, just suppress it. No, the goal is to discover what is making us feel bloated. And then when we address it, then we know that we have gotten to the root of the matter. So what are the common symptoms when it comes to bloating? Very classical is swollen or distended stomach. A swollen or distended stomach. When we have flatulence, that is excessive gas in our tummy. Or frequent burping or belching. There are some people, they will belch. And sometimes when they belch, the odor that comes out of their mouth is coming right from deep in their belly. They are bringing up the gas. They are bringing it up. The gas can either come out through the mouth or come out through the anus. Abdominal distension and cramps. For some people, they feel cramps in their tummy. That is a symptom that there's something going on. Or rumbling sounds in the stomach. Feeling heavy and sluggish after a meal. Not necessarily that they have eaten so much, but even the little they eat, they are sluggish, they feel heavy. And for some people, it is constipation. So all these symptoms, they are pointing to a problem somewhere. And it is that problem that we need to unearth and solve so that this symptom is taken care of. So what causes bloating? Oftentimes, it's not just a singular issue that causes bloating. Sometimes it's a multiple factors, different things coming together to cause bloating. It can be something affecting our digestion. It can be something affecting the gut bacteria or lifestyle. The last series of this our wellness talk, we talked a lot about the bacterial colony in the gut. Once there's an imbalance there, we can see it as bloating. Now let's take a look at our digestion, because to go to the root cause, if we understand the process, then we understand where the challenge could be, and then it becomes easier to address it. So food moves from the mouth. Once we are eating, food moves from the mouth to the stomach, from the stomach to the small intestine, and then to the large intestine, and finally, we eliminate it as waste. So that is the passage of food from the mouth through the gullet, the esophagus to the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and it goes out. Now, in the process, what could go wrong? Maybe if we don't chew very well, poor chewing could cause a problem. If there's low stomach acid, maybe because of a disease condition, maybe a problem with the pancreas or something, there's low stomach acid, or the enzymes that should digest the food has a problem. That could be part of it. If food stays too long in this canal, it begins to ferment. Bacteria begins to ferment to work on the food, and fermentation happens. And when food ferments, what happens? Gas is produced. And it's the gas that is produced that causes bloating. So next time when we think of bloating, let us now remember the process. Okay, I eat, the food goes on like this. In the process of eating, these are the things that can happen. Once we have that clear understanding, then it's easier to deal with bloating. So again, the factors that can affect it are either digestion, gut bacteria, or lifestyle. So if we want to address the issue of bloating, we need to address either all or one or two of these areas. Bloating is rarely a singular cause. Rarely. It's usually as a result of more than one factor. And it's in just these three classical areas. Either we have a problem with our digestion, or the bacterial colony, there's a problem there, or our lifestyle. These things can cause bloating. So now let's look at different factors, different things that come under one or two of these areas. First one is swallowing too much air, aerophagia. This is one of the most overlooked causes of bloating. We swallow air when we eat too fast, eat too quickly, talk while eating. I remember in those days, my grandma used to say, don't talk when you are eating. Now, coming up here, I see, oh, there's wisdom in that. When we eat too quickly, we are bringing in air into our tummy. When we talk while we're eating, we're also consuming air. And then drinking with a straw. Also chewing gum frequently. Anything that allows air to go into our guts would cause bloating. Or consuming carbonated drinks. I remember that as children, we used to do competition first to finish drinking the bottle of a carbonated drink, and at the end of it, the person that has the biggest belch or burp, So the trapped air accumulates in the digestive tract, and it causes pressure and bloating. So table manners: don't talk while you eat. Don't eat too quickly, because all these things will trap air in our system, which is not very good. How about poor digestion? Do you know that digestion starts in the mouth? Yes, because in our saliva, there are digestive enzymes that start breaking down the food in our mouth. So when the food is not properly broken down, it remains in the digestive tract for a longer time. And this allows bacteria to ferment it. And when that happens, it produces gas that causes bloating. So when we eat, not only are we to eat slowly, we are to chew our food thoroughly so that the enzymes, digestive enzymes in our saliva can mix very well with the food. Now, poor digestion may be as a result of eating too fast. We're eating in the hurry, so digestion is poor. Inadequate chewing, we're not chewing our food properly. Low stomach acid and digestive enzyme insufficiency. At least the low-hanging fruits, the one that we can easily deal with, is to be calm when we are eating and to chew our food very well. Chew our food very well. Eat slowly so that digestion can happen. You know, there are different kinds of food spend different times in the alimentary canal. Different types of food, like the simple carbohydrates. Within 30 minutes, 1 hour is digested. But when you look at the proteins take like 1 to 2 hours to be digested. And then when it comes to fats, oh, those ones can take between 3 to 4 hours for digestion to happen. So we need to help ourselves by chewing properly. What of the imbalance in the gut bacteria, known as dysbiosis? Your digestive tract contains trillions of beneficial bacteria. The last time we looked at this in depth, we found out that our digestive tract contains 3.8, not 3.8, 38 trillion bacteria in our guts. So it's like a huge country on its own. So these bacteria help to digest food and maintain gut health. Now, when we have more harmful bacteria than the beneficial one, what happens? There's more gas that is produced. Bad bacteria can never give us positive benefits. So when we have more of that, more gas is produced, digestion becomes less efficient, inflammation may increase, and bloating becomes more frequent. So when one is bloated, query the gut flora. It means we have more of the bad than the good. This imbalance may occur after frequent antibiotic use. I cannot overemphasize the need to only use antibiotics based on doctor's prescription. Let's desist from going to the pharmacy to buy antibiotics to use for ourselves, because most of them are broad spectrum. They destroy both the good and the bad bacteria. Poor dietary habits, chronic stress, gastrointestinal infections, all these things can create an imbalance in the gut bacteria that can lead to bloating. So now we know. How about food intolerance? You know, allergies to some foods. Food intolerance may affect digestion. There are some people that are lactose intolerant. They can't digest milk and other dairy products. Some people can't tolerate fructose, simple sugars that come from fruits. They will tell you that, oh, it causes something to happen in my tummy. People are sensitive to some wheat products. You know, we always advise, listen to your body. Listen to your body so that you know what you are sensitive to and what you are not sensitive to, so that you can manage. You know, one size never fits all when it comes to wellness. People are susceptible to different kinds of conditions. So the symptoms when people taking certain foods that they are intolerant to are, again, gas, bloating, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. So if something doesn't work for you, if a food does not sit well with you, there's no need to keep on consuming it. If you find out that the food, your body is not accepting it, it leaves you uncomfortable and all of that, then you just stay away from those foods. How about constipation? Some people are constipated and they don't even know, they think it is normal. It is not normal. When stool remains in the colon for too long, fermentation happens. You know, when stool remains in the colon for too long, the fluid in the stool gets reabsorbed into the body. So the waste becomes more compact. You know, we have more gas produced as a result of fermentation. Let's mute you. Thank you. You know, the waste ferments, more gas is produced, and pressure builds up. That's why when some people pass out gas, it has a very the smell can be very, very pungent because the stool has built up and has stayed there. Many people who feel bloated, they are actually constipated. Yes. Even if they pass stool on a daily basis, for some people, they don't feel they have completely emptied their rectum. They've gone to the toilet, they've passed waste, but they feel there's still something that is left there. So constipation too is also one of the things that causes bloating. So ask yourself, how many times do you go to the toilet in a day? For some people, they don't go every day, they go every other day. So for some people, 3 days in a week. It should not be. If we eat 3 times a day, ideally, we should go to the toilet 3 times a day. Ask the moms who are here. When you feed your baby, finish nursing your baby, the next thing the baby does is to wet his or her pampers, and you have to change. Digestion has happened and elimination. But we as adults have lost a lot of that. Constipation is one of the triggers for bloating. So, are you constipated? How about stress? Excuse me. How about stress and anxiety? The gut and the brain, they communicate. The gut and the brain. When we are stressed, the brain will tell the gut, oh, there is stress, slow down digestion, slow down movement. So when we are stressed, digestion slows down, gut movement changes. The microbiome can also be disrupted, and then sensitivity to gas increases. You see, stress is not good because of that hormone. There's a stress hormone called cortisol that is released, and cortisol causes damage anywhere it touches. So let us try and manage stress. This explains why many people experience bloating during periods of emotional stress. For some people, they are anxious. A colleague of mine, anytime she wants to make a presentation, to a group of people, immediately she starts sweating, stressed, and her tummy starts running. There's another one that rushes to the toilet and feels like urinating and all that. Stress triggers a whole lot of things. So if we can manage stress, we have better a hold on our digestive system, and we reduce the incidence or occurrence of bloating. How about hormonal changes? The women here would understand. Bloating is experienced before menstruation, during pregnancy, around menopause, just because of that imbalance that is sending signals to the gut to cause different kinds of fluctuation, like water retention, intestinal movement slowing down, and digestive insensitivity. We can't do much about those hormonal changes, but we can do a lot to manage the bloating itself when it occurs. So it's just to let us know that, you see, when you talk about bloating, the cause is not just singular. There are several, and sometimes there are multiple that occurs at the same time. How about hydration? Something as simple as drinking enough water. You see, water helps to move food through the digestive tract. Remember, when the food slows down in the digestive tract, then fermentation can occur, and then gas can be released. So when we drink water, we drink sufficient water, we stay hydrated, the food now helps water now helps to push the food through the digestive tract.
That's what that was.
The water now helps the food to push through the digestive tract. Not drinking enough water can contribute to bloating. So ask yourself today, Sunday, how much water have you taken today? For some of us who have not even drank a glass of water today, we've taken wine, we've taken fruit juice, we've taken different things, but we've not drank water. We need to drink water. Water is very, very, very important, and it helps us to hedge against this issue of bloating. And it's a low-hanging fruit. Water is available. Water is free. Please, let's stay hydrated. It's important. And then certain medical conditions. Persistent bloating may sometimes be associated with irritable bowel syndrome, different kinds of diseases, inflammation of the bowel, ovarian disorder, liver diseases, different kinds of conditions.
To
So
repack.
not only do we
I
have
said, but
bloating as a result
I
of
said
medical
only
condition,
problem.
there's
You can get
also
news.
bloating as a
That's
result
why
of
I'm
the
not gonna. The
medication
one that
that
surprised
we're
me was
taking.
not
Can
gonna
we
my
keep
enemy.
ourselves muted, please, so
Me
that
said
there is no interference? Iherio Hammer, please mute yourself. Thank you. So medical conditions. That is why when we are taking, when drugs have been prescribed for us by our doctors, let us do well to stay with the prescription. Let's not use too much or too little, because everything has been properly calculated to help us take care of that medical condition. So we have looked at different areas, different things that can cause bloating, different things that can cause bloating that are grouped into three major categories: our lifestyle, gut bacteria, and digestion. So when we think of bloating, it's either as a result of our lifestyle, maybe we are stressed, gut bacteria, there's an imbalance in the bacterial colony, or digestion. We have we haven't chewed our food properly to allow digestion to happen. So how can bloating be prevented? We've seen what bloating, we understand what bloating is. We've seen different conditions that can cause us to be bloated. Now, how can we prevent it? Because remember, prevention is safer, is cheaper than cure. How can we prevent it? One of them is eat mindfully. What does that mean? Eat slowly. If you've ever had lunch or dinner with an Italian woman, oh my God, you will understand what mindful eating is all about. She takes her time, little portions. She chews very well before she swallows. She doesn't talk while she's eating, so she's not consuming air with her food. So let's eat slowly. Let's chew our food thoroughly and avoid overeating. And then we need to eat at regular intervals. So mindful eating, eating properly, prim and proper, not eating on the go, eating and talking, eating and rushing. No, let's calm down and eat. It will help to prevent bloating. And then we need to support our healthy gut microbiome. We need to support it by eating foods that are rich in our diet should be rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, fermented foods, and all that. These are things that we know. Fortunately for us in this part of the world, there's always a fruit in season. There's always a fruit in season. So let's go with the seasonality so that we can always have an assortment of fruits. And let's do our vegetables. Eat all the colors of the rainbows so that we're getting all the phytonutrients that we need. Whole grains like our beans and brown rice and things like that, are very good. Yogurt, Greek yogurt is very good because yogurt contains life strains of bacteria that is good. So a diverse fiber-rich diet supports beneficial bacteria. So anytime we want to consume something, we have something in our hands and we want to eat, ask yourself, is this thing going to prevent bloating? Is this thing going to support bloating? Is this thing going to support my health? Or am I using it to cause a problem for myself? So that we are deliberate about the things that we consume. Now, how can it be prevented? We need to stay active. Regular exercises, in fact, movement, let's call it movement, because if we say exercises, people think, oh, I have to get gym clothes and join the gym. No, regular movement, it stimulates bowel movement. You see, our bowel is never at rest. There's always some kind of movement in the bowel, this peristalsis, so it's never at rest. So if we're active, we increase that movement, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes walk after meals. It can help digestion and reduce bloating, particularly for those people who eat late in the evening. Once you are eating, your last food is after 7 p.m. Once you've had that meal, please do well to take a walk, to walk around. for 10 to 15 minutes to push the food around to prevent it from sitting in one place and having bacteria act on it to cause fermentation. And then we must manage stress. We stress a lot about so many things. And half of the things we stress about don't even happen. So there are some healthy strategies that we can use. Prayer and meditation, yes. Let's hand it over. What we cannot change, what we are not sure of, take it to the Lord in prayer. Some meditation, quiet time for us to even realign and reassess those things that bother us. Deep breathing, exercise, quality sleep, taking breaks during busy days. All these things can help to calm our mind. And a calm mind is a calm gut. And when the gut is calm, the likelihood of being bloated is also reduced. So, in managing it, we need to improve digestion, we need to restore our gut health. These are two very major areas. If you are thinking of bloat, or if you want to manage bloating, if you know anyone who is always bloated, there are two things that person must take a look at, must manage. Improve digestion, and it is easy. How do we do that? Eat slowly, chew thoroughly, because remember, digestion starts in the mouth. The saliva has to mix with the food before we swallow it. Avoid lying down immediately after eating to allow the food to move down through the alimentary canal, and then eat moderate portions. Let's not overload our plates and eat as if we are having the last meal in our lifetime. And then restore gut flora by eating those foods that support the gut microbiome, reducing excess sugar and ultra processed foods. Now, one would say, okay, how do I achieve all of this? There's always a gap. Not always, there's often a gap. And that is where supplementation comes in. So we'll be taking a deep dive into these two products. Take a deep dive into these products that would help us to manage our gut flora. The Forever Aloe Vera Gel and the probiotic. These two products are key for please can we mute ourselves? Adedeji Christina, it would be great if you can mute yourself, please. Now, if you were not here initially, I apologized ahead of time. I said I had a challenge with my system, so my presentations are in two separate sets. So now I've looked at bloating. That is one presentation. We're now going to take the next presentation, which is on another slide. So you permit me to stop sharing this particular slide so that I can bring up the next one that will take us into those products. That I spoke about, the Forever Aloe Vera Gel and the probiotic. These two products would help us to manage bloating effectively. So here we go. I hope you can see my slide. This is a little bit different. Okay. So we want to take a look at Forever Aloe Vera Gel and gut health. Forever Aloe Vera Gel and gut health, because our gut needs to be healthy to ensure there's no bloating. So let's remind ourselves again. Bloating occurs when there's trapped gas in our gut, plus inflammation, plus slow digestion, and bad bacteria. We have seen that bloating is hardly a result of one condition. It's usually a combination of so many. So how does aloe vera gel fix all these four? It actually helps in all these areas with the trapped gas, inflammation, slow digestion, and bad bacteria. So let's start with soothing and healing of the gut lining. So when the gut lining is irritated, food sits and ferments, and this results in gas and bloating. How does aloe fix it? Aloe contains some polysaccharides that have anti-inflammatory properties and mucopolysaccharides that help to protect this gut. So it's like having a gel that coats the inner walls of our stomach and intestine to allow food move easily. So let us think of the effect of aloe on healing the guts as if we are healing sunburn externally, but this time around it is inside our gut. So when the inner part of the gut, inner part, there are some people that eat some food, they'll say, "Oh, it's peppery, and I feel some heat inside my stomach. I feel some discomfort." When you now take the aloe vera gel, it lines the stomach, the inner lining. The gel of the aloe, the inner gel that contains ismana and different polysaccharides, line the inner lining of the stomach. So there's less irritation, and food can move smoothly. When food moves smoothly through the alimentary canal, it doesn't sit, so there's less gas. There's less gas buildup. That is one of the ways it helps. Another way it helps is by balancing the bacteria, the gut bacteria. When there's a bad bacteria, when there's so much of bad bacteria, it creates gas because food is not digested. How does aloe vera fix this? Aloe vera acts as a prebiotic. So aloe vera feeds the good bacteria in your colon. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut. So when we have more good bacteria, it means we have better digestion, there's less fermentation, and less bloating. Aloe vera also has antimicrobial properties. So it helps to keep the bad bacteria in check. We're talking about balancing the bacteria in the gut. So when there's bloating, possibility we have more bad bacteria. So aloe vera comes in, feeds the good bacteria to the detriment of the bad bacteria. So bloating is reduced. Another way it helps is by improving digestion and regularity. We saw that constipation is part of the problem because the stool sits for days. So there's bloating, there's discomfort because the bacteria now are working on the food that did not move. How does aloe fix it? It is a mild, natural laxative. So it allows movements gently through the intestine. It doesn't work harshly like the normal laxatives that we know. Everything about aloe is gentle in the tummy. It also contains enzymes that helps to break down proteins and fats so the food doesn't ferment. So you see, aloe vera, forever aloe vera, has so many ways that it helps in the gut to ensure that food moves easily, digestion happens, and we can regularly pass it out. Also, hydration helps to keep the digestive system moving. We said we need water. Water helps to soften the stool to keep it moving and help us to push it out. Aloe vera also has hydrating properties. So you can go to the toilet regularly, no stool is sitting down in the gut, so there is no bloating. So when you think of bloating, the first thing that should come to your mind is forever aloe vera gel. I'm emphatic about saying forever aloe vera gel because it is the species of aloe that makes a difference, and that species is the Aloe barbadensis Miller. How about inflammation in the guts? Aloe also reduces inflammation in the guts. How does it do that? Some foods, like milk, like gluten, like oily foods. In fact, this explains why there's a friend of mine, she loves dodo, akara, all these street finger foods. But anytime she consumes it, all these deep fried food, oh, she's really bloated and she has a problem. She really has a problem. These things inflame the gut. So water retention is a problem and there is bloating. So we need to pay more attention to our system. It's not only when we eat beans. A lot of people will say, oh, I'm bloated, I ate beans. Or I'm bloated, I didn't eat beans. What is happening? Deep fried food, oily foods, because it takes longer for oily foods to get broken down than our carbohydrates and proteins. So when we now have inflammation in the gut and we are consuming these foods that are deeply fried, there's a problem. Aloe contains polysaccharides that can calm inflammation, so your stomach doesn't feel tight and puffy after meals. Who is thinking of adding aloe vera as part of their lifestyle? It is a necessity. No wonder it's called a miracle plant. It also supports nutrient absorption. When the gut is inflamed, you don't absorb nutrients very well. Your food just sits there. So what does aloe do? Aloe helps to heal the villi. The villi are those finger-like, we know shaki, right? That looks like towel. So those finger-like protrusions are the villi that helps us to absorb food. So when there's inflammation, aloe helps to heal that villi and it allows us to absorb food. So digestion is fast. And when digestion is fast, we absorb our food better. So in this case, we have less undigested food and there's less fat in, there's less gas in our guts. So really, we need to take this. Oh, that's the next slide. Yes. How do we take the aloe vera gel? 60 mils twice a day. First thing in the morning and last thing at night. What is 60 mils? We know this little cup for taking hot drinks. It's a shot, right? So 2 shots, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and then before we go to bed. And the best time to take it, really, another good time to take it is 20 or 30 minutes before our meals, so that it can go and coat the inner lining of our gut to prevent any kind of issues. For people that have started taking aloe, there's a lady that she bought a bottle from one of my newest customers. She bought last Sunday, and I wish I could open her text message and read it to us. Let me even see if I can find it, because this is classically what happens. It is gentle. Between day 1 and day 3, you might actually feel more movement as it cleans out. By day 4 or day 5, you usually feel less bloated. Let me see if I can get her message. This is exactly her testimony, and she's very, very happy, very, very happy with the aloe vera gel. When I asked her how is she faring with the product, she said, "Wow, that she's really feeling very good." Just trying to scroll to see where her message is, because with the aloe vera gel, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. You know, just allow me. Yes, see her message here. I said, "How are you faring with your aloe vera gel?" She said, "Oh, ma, it is so wonderful. I have been going to the toilet every day and I feel so light." Her message here. A classical example of what happens when you take the aloe vera gel. So what's the bottom line? Aloe vera gel helps to reset your gut. So once you have been feeling some kind of discomfort in your gut, aloe vera gel helps to reset your gut. It just doesn't max the bloating. It doesn't max it. It fixes it from the root. It fixes it from the root. How? It helps to reduce inflammation. It helps to increase gut bacteria. It helps to improve digestion and also the regularity of going to the toilet. And all this together reduces bloating. So you can imagine drinking aloe vera with drinking more water, doing more exercise, being mindful when we eat. Do not take our drinks with straw. Reduce carbonated drinks to reduce the trapped air in our gut. We will be comfortable. We will be so comfortable. Another product that we're going to look at is the probiotic. Another product that we're going to look at is the probiotic. Very good for gut health. What happens and how does it work? So if aloe vera suits the gut, what does Pro-B do? Pro-B reinforces the team, is the reinforcement team, because Pro-B is healthy bacteria. Bloating is often caused by an imbalance in gut bacteria, and Pro-B fixes it directly. How does it do that? It does that by delivering beneficial bacteria and probiotic fiber directly into the gut to restore that balance in the digestive tract. Remember, we have gut bacteria in our colon. Sometimes we have more of the bad bacteria than the good bacteria. Probiotic delivers beneficial bacteria directly into our
Yes.
gut. How does it do that? Reverend Mrs. Sandra. Mute yourself.
Well,
How does it do that? You see that in a bit, it replenishes the good bacteria. Now, what's the problem? The classical problem is someone has finished a course of antibiotics or taking a lot of sugary things or under stress. All these processed food, all these things, but antibiotics, sugar, stress, they kill good bacteria. And when they kill good bacteria, there is a problem in the gut. We now have bad bacteria overgrow. When bad bacteria overgrow, our foods get fermented. It leads to gas, bloating, and constipation. So we must be mindful of the things we do, our lifestyle. Let's stop taking antibiotics randomly. Let's cut down our consumption of sugar and let's manage stress. I can never overemphasize the damage cortisol does. Part of what happens is it kills this good bacteria. So, how does ProB fix it? ProB fixes it because each capsule contains 6 strains of good bacteria and 8 billion CFU, that is the coliform forming units of good bacteria, like the bifidobacterium and the lactobacillus. These are exactly the strains of bacteria that help us to manage gas, less gas production, better digestion, and a flatter tummy. So, where are my ladies in the house that have big tummy as a result of bloating and all that? Can you imagine what would happen if you make aloe vera and ProB a lifestyle, consuming both of them together? Good bacteria will crowd out the gas producing bad bacteria so that bloating is a thing of the past. Another way ProB works is by breaking down the food better. You know, when we digest our food better, there's less gas. ProB helps us to break down our food better. When you don't have enough digestive bacteria, carbohydrates and dairy products, they just sit in the gut and fermentation happens. Once food is delayed longer than necessary in the gut, fermentation will happen. When fermentation happens, gas is produced. When gas is produced, we are bloated. That's what causes the tight, gassy food baby bloat. Food baby bloat, you know, sometimes when you feed your baby, your newborn, after they finish nursing and all that, their tummy is rounded, you know. There's food there, there's gas there, and everything. So we need to digest our food well. ProB fixes it because it contains good bacteria that produces enzymes that break down lactose, fiber, complex carbs, and everything. So ProB helps with digestion. When digestion happens, bloating goes down. Foods get digested properly. So fermentation does not happen. Fermentation does not happen. So less gas production, less pressure in your tummy. So you will not need to loosen your belt or pull down your zip after a meal. You will not need to do that. Another way ProB helps, because once we understand how these things happen, then we have confidence. It strengthens the gut barrier. There's something called leaky gut. You know, our stomach is a lining, it's a thin lining, you know, and if there are perforations, you know, things can leak out of it that will cause inflammation, water retention, and bloating. ProB works on it by strengthening all these junctions to prevent the gut lining from leaking. And when this happens, there is less inflammation, less puffiness, and we feel much more comfortable. Remember, when you think of bloating, just remember that when you think of this, one of three things. It's either there's a problem with digestion, or there's a problem with gut bacteria, or our lifestyle is causing us problems. Once we can fix it, you know, the root cause, once we deal with the root cause, then bloating, which is the symptom, disappears. How about improving regularity? Our regularity in going to the toilet to pass out waste. Constipation is as a result of stool sitting. Gas is stuck and there is major bloating. The stool is sitting for different reasons. Movement through the alimentary canal is sluggish, digestion is poor, we have too much of the bad bacteria, and so there is bloating. Probi fixes it because remember, these are life beneficial strains that are being dumped in our guts. So these strains help to soften the stool, promotes comfortable bowel movement regularly. We must move our bowel. If we're not moving, after you're eating, the food gets digested, and instead of it to be eliminated, it waits there. It's like the door is closed. So you eat, it gets digested. Instead of being eliminated, it piles up. You eat the next food, it gets digested. Instead of the waste being eliminated, it piles up. It keeps on piling up and piling up and piling up. That is why there is difficulty in using the loo, and that causes constipation. So there will be no stool sitting for 2 to 3 days, and bloating does not build up once we are taking our probiotic. Pro-B, Forever Active Pro-B, would help us to achieve that. It also supports the immune system in the gut. 70% of our immune system is in the gut. 70%. So once we can take care of the gut, we are healthy. We've taken care of our health. When it's weak, inflammation goes up and you can bloat easily. Pro-B helps to balance the immune response of the gut so you don't react to every meal with swelling. Because some people, even water, when they drink water, they are bloated because of that imbalance in the gut. How do we take Pro-B? It's just 1 capsule a day on an empty stomach or 30 minutes before your first meal. So what I advise people to do on a daily basis is take your Pro-B with your aloe vera gel and you are good to go. You are good to go. Most people notice less bloating within 7 to 14 days of daily use of Pro-B. So put yourself on a course of aloe vera gel and probiotic, and you will find out that bloating is history. Forever Pro-B fixes the bloat at the source. And what is the source? The microbiome, the bacterial colony in your gut. So there's less bad bacteria to cause fermentation. When that happens, and then we have better digestion, we have better gut movement. So what's the result? A flat tummy, a comfortable tummy. Remember, bloating, one of 3 things: digestion, gut bacteria, and lifestyle. Pro-B fixes the digestion. It helps you with digestion. It fixes the gut bacteria. That we are introducing healthy gut bacteria into the gut. Aloe vera gel too helps you with digestion, helps you with gut bacteria. Pro-B is a probiotic, that is the active bacteria being dumped in the gut, while the aloe vera gel is a prebiotic feeding the gut bacteria. So you see, both of them work in synergy. So if we look at the two together, what do they do? The aloe vera gel helps to heal and soothe the gut lining, the inner lining of the gut, while Pro-B increases the population of the good bacteria. So while aloe vera gel will help with inflammation, irritation, and acidity, Pro-B helps with the gas, irregularity of going to the toilet, and is particularly useful after using antibiotics. So how do you feel when you take the aloe vera? You feel calm and less burning sensation, while for the Pro-B, you feel lighter and less gassy. The two together work in synergy. Two of them together work in synergy. So you think of the aloe vera gel as, you are repairing the house, which is the gut, the lining and everything. You are repairing the house, cleaning it out, painting it, making it conducive. While Pro-B are the good tenants now. You bring good tenants to inhabit that repaired house. So you see, both of them work in synergy to ensure that your gut is healthy and bloating is reduced. So thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this session. Thank you very much for your time. Do we have questions? Let's take your questions and we'll call it. So if we have questions, let's take it.
We'll be from where?
So I'll stop recording.